Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Welcome to my second panel of the weekend. This is the Arte. I literally just put an E on it because I've run this panel at other conventions. Of Buy and Alter Cosplays. Who was at my panel on Friday?
Me!
Ooh, oh, awesome. Thank you guys for coming. Yeah. Is that Master's level cosplayer, Prin Licorice?
Is that Master's
Is
Prin?
that Finley Chorus?
Oh my god!
Oh my god.
They've been doing this to me all weekend.
Yeah.
They're not surprised. They're like using my adapter. It's time.
Oh my god.
I got to have dinner with them.
Oh my god.
I know.
So this panel is specifically about purchasing cosplays, whether it is pre-made cosplays off of a cosplay website or thrifting cosplays with pre-made items, as well as just anything, closet cosplays, all that good stuff. It is fantastic for beginners who have never cosplayed before, or people who are just looking to hone their sewing skills and figure out different fitting, tailoring techniques, things of that nature. How many people here have cosplayed before? How many people here have never cosplayed before? You're gonna be our eye on next year. So yeah, this panel's honestly great for all skill levels because I think I guess I should move to the next slide. Who am I? Hi, I'm Prin. I'm a master's level cosplayer with a huge passion for pattern crafting, alteration, and tailoring. I've been cosplaying for 15 years. I have been purchasing and altering cosplays for just as long because it's honestly way more accessible in this day and age, and it's also super kind of again super beginner friendly, and also when you're at the master's level and you make very elaborate costumes on a regular basis, you're gonna get burnt out on making beautiful pieces every single time. Yeah, looking at you.
Don't look at me.
Worst offender. And this is a really great way to do a small project in between a bunch of your larger projects, and it's a great way to just kind of hone your skills if you are looking to improve some things. How many people have ever competed at a cosplay competition before? Oh, yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Kind of as you one of the other things I like to talk about is as you progress in the levels, you're obviously expected to do more and more at a certain level, and also it's just expected to look cleaner and cleaner. When you get up into intermediates and masters, they are really looking for not just, oh, I tried a bunch of new skills on this cosplay, but they're looking for, is this skill done cleanly? Especially masters. It's like, great, you did your very first leather working, but it kind of looks like crud. So stuff like this, small projects, I'm a huge proponent of it. Small project alterations, they're a great way to hone your skills. If you've never tried out this XYZ technique before, if you've never tried this particular pattern method or anything like that. Anyways, okay, disclaimer, I don't think I have to say this for anybody here. While I am master's level in the competition circuit, I value accessibility and personal comfort above all else. I want to share these techniques to help newer cosplayers get their footing, and I refuse to gatekeep this hobby. Too bad, so sad to those who want me to, I guess? No. Who does that? I love the philosophy, done is better than perfect, and it's not just good, it's good enough. I say that all the time. For Buy and Alter Cosplays, because it encourages cosplayers to try new things, hone their skills with less pressure. If you have specific ideals on the best methods and techniques, this panel may not be for you. I will talk about some sacrilegious sewing decisions in this panel. I will talk about some things that are taboo. So let's talk about the what. Alteration dictionary definition, the result of changing or altering something, such as a change made in fitting a garment. For most of the population, this refers to changing men's and women's or formal business wear, tailoring, or regular clothes. You probably have an alteration shop anywhere near you. There's lots of places that do it. A lot of laundromats will do it, who will have an alterations specialist. And tailoring is actually still like a pretty lucrative hobby, or not hobby, like career for a lot of folks, because again, menswear is crazy. As somebody who like, I'll say this, like, obviously like fitted bodices and dresses are really hard. A tailored jacket is way harder. Oh my gosh. Everything that goes into tailoring is crazy. But in the context of cosplay, this can refer to not just changing the fit of a costume, but upgrading pieces and elements to a higher standard. This is another thing we're not just going to talk about taking in, taking out. We're going to talk about like what else you can do to make a store-bought cosplay look just that much better. Look a little less like a 2D flat piece of whatever, you know. And I love that. The why. Accessibility. Plus size or disabled cosplayers may have a more difficult time purchasing cosplays online. How many of you have purchased a cosplay online before? How many of you have looked at a size chart and said, I'm not going to fit in that? Yup. A lot of those overseas size charts are kind of working with more limited sizing because, you know, overseas a lot of the, you know, it just depends on the culture, but a lot of them are just generally smaller. So they just offer the size charts that they offer, and it just is unfortunate for those of us who are plus size. I'm not afraid to say it, I'm fat. I love it. I'm very body positive. Sustainability. Thrifting cosplays, purchasing gently pre-worn cosplays, and fixing old cosplays can be a great method to keep your impact low. I am a big proponent. I'm not about to shame anybody for not being sustainable enough. We live in capitalism hell. But I am just like a big proponent of just like do what you can, and especially with cosplay can be a very impact heavy cosplay. You're gonna throw away so many fabric scraps, you're gonna throw away, you know, a lot of messed up pieces. And so like doing stuff like this is actually like super helpful for that. Great craftsmanship practice. Like I said, hone your sewing and crafting skills on smaller, lower stakes builds. It's really great, again, if you are like really tired of, you know, hand embroidering your beautiful, I'm trying to think of a character that's got like embroidery on their coat or something, I don't know, coat for 400 hours, and you want to just like, I want to be this character like next weekend for a con, you know. We don't support crunch, but like, yeah, rather than suffering through more techniques that you're burnt out on, just do something smaller. Better customized fit. Let's just admit, when you look better in a cosplay, you feel better. When a cosplay fits you the way it should, and you look at the mirror and you go, okay, that looks good. You know, you just feel better wearing it. You feel more confident. Otherwise, you know, other than like, yeah, maybe it, you know, a lot of the, for us bustier folks, a lot of those busts tend to go up to like here, and we're like, yeah. It's always good to like the cosplay that you're in and like how you look in it. All right, so let's talk about purchasing cosplays. Again, I saw that a lot of you have bought a pre-made cosplay before. We'll talk a little bit about where to do that. So I have a little tier list here. There are hundreds of cosplay websites out there offering pre-made cosplays of various sizing, quality, etc. Not all cosplays are created equal. Be sure to thoroughly vet the site or seller prior to purchase. Here's a fun little tier list of the best places to buy cosplays. S tier. I love this website. It is called Lumika Cosplay Resale. They are international. It is a cosplay website, resale website, run by cosplayers for cosplayers. This is where I sell my old costumes. You can list your old costumes and you know they're going to a safe place. You know they're going to another cosplayer. They have all these settings for, you know, like sizing and description that are like very cosplayer focused. It is wonderful. I love this website. I'm about to, I guess I'll tell you guys this. I'm looking at somebody selling an Eleanor from Berseria on there right now, and I'm like, I've been eyeing it for a while. But you can get everything from like a pre-made costume that maybe somebody's gently worn a couple of times to a beautiful bespoke costume that somebody spent thousands of hours on. The cosplayers, we set our own pricing. Lumika takes a little bit of a fee out of it, but that's because they're run by 2 people. It is a tiny, again, it's by cosplayers for cosplayers. It is not a big website by any means. But I love it. I will shill Lumika into the end of time.
We love small businesses.
Correct. Especially huge, great resources to the cosplay community. A tier, Doki Doki Cosplay. I have FM Anime in here because I bought from them. We've bought from them. Roll Cosplay I hear good things about. I've not personally had any experiences. Uo, I've not personally had any experiences. These are higher quality cosplays websites. They're mostly going to be made to order, which means they are going to take a few months to get to you. I know that Doki Doki has, they basically do like interest checks and pre-orders where they're like, okay, we're gonna make a limited amount of this cosplay. Do you want it? And they have like a couple of them have different, I think both Uwowo and Doki Doki have different tiers that you can buy, which means if you buy their more expensive SR version, it's gonna be prettier, it's gonna have nicer fabrics, it's gonna be a little bit more detailed versus like the regular S version is just gonna be a little bit less detailed, it's not gonna have everything. I think, and I think they're expanding, they've been expanding their sizing for a while too, so they're a little bit more accessible there. FM Anime is awesome. They will take 2 months to 90 days to get you your cosplay, which can stink, but their sizing is incredible. They will do completely custom sizing up to whatever you want. Some of the larger sizes are a little bit more of a fee, but they are great for that, for sure. Again, Roll Cosplay, Uo Cosplay I don't have experience with, but I hear they're mostly kind of the same thing. Roll Cosplay has, I think, a little bit more of like American media, superheroes, things like that, and not just like your cheap Zentai suit Spider-Man. Like they have nice stuff. Beats here, mid costumes, cosplay magic, places like this are going to be high to medium quality, often ready to ship, limited sizing, cheaper. Mid costumes I use frequently. They're actually, like, a lot of their cosplays are pretty good quality. They're usually fully lined and they're used with more expensive materials. They have stuff like embroidered, like actual machine embroidery on them. They're like properly fitted. The problem is their sizing sucks. So that tends to be a lot of alteration on your part. So it's up to you if you want to do that, but I don't mind. I never mind doing it. That's why I make this panel, because again, I'm passionate about it. But yeah, they're going to be limited sizing, they're going to be cheaper, but they are going to be ready to ship, which is nice. So you will get, and they do have a warehouse in Los Angeles. They have a couple overseas warehouses, but I know they have one in LA. And so it will get to you in less than a week, which is nice. I've bought a couple things from Cosplay Magic before, like many years ago. Like, you know, they're all right. Kind of similar as big costumes. C tier, Easy Cosplay. Who has ever bought from Easy Cosplay? How many of you had a good experience with Easy Cosplay? Ooh. Me too. eBay and AliExpress. Medium quality, kind of, I put a star asterisk there. Typically made to order, more niche characters. Please check the seller ratings. So yeah, Easy Cosplay is a website. It's arguably the biggest cosplay website. They have the biggest itinerary. They are very cheap, but there's a lot of issues. You never know if you are going to get something that looks great and fits great, or something that's falling apart on your person immediately. And they're really bad with their timelines. A lot of the time I hear a lot about, I had my personal experience, I bought his Yuri cosplay from Easy Cosplay. Because it was a little bit more of a niche character, I was like, okay, this is like the only place I can get this right now where, you know, I like the way it looks. And I set they give you an option to put in a deadline, and it was like 3 months before the deadline that I put in this order for it, and I said, hey, I need this by XYZ time. And the convention that we were supposed to wear Yuri and Estelle at came and went, and I didn't even get a shipping notification from them. And it was 3 months later, and I had to email them and be like, hey, where's my cosplay? And then they shipped it out the week after that. So, yeah, it's gonna be hit or miss. You never know what you're gonna get, really. eBay, I'm actually pretty fond of eBay as a cosplay buying website. Again, please check your seller ratings. That's arguably the biggest thing. Make sure somebody has at least a 99% or more. You can find, there's lots of people with hundos. And more than like 500 feedback. We're looking for like better hype, more than anything. But I've been buying eBay cosplays for like, since I started cosplaying. It was a way bigger resource, I admit, when I started because of, that was just the time, this was before we had anything we have now. But they still have a lot of more niche characters, so you just look up, XYZ character. They have a lot of Tails characters. That's 90% of where I get my Tails cosplays from, is eBay, because they still have them listed, which, that's the one really good thing about it. AliExpress is kind of similar. They're gonna, again, check your seller ratings. I've had a lot of people with really great success from AliExpress, but again, also some people have had less success. Yeah?
I just had a point on AliExpress.
Yes, go for it.
So also be careful when you go through AliExpress, because I peruse AliExpress for little niche things. Doki Doki, Wowo, and some of them have their manufacturers also through AliExpress.
Yes.
And some other ghost costume sites, and the quality will not be the same.
No, yes.
So
and that's the other thing with eBay, AliExpress, and Easy Cosplay. They will steal photos from other cosplay websites all the time. Easy Cosplay is the worst offender. They will steal just regular, actual cosplayers' photos.
Yes.
Like beautiful handmade cosplays, and then you get it and it looks like trash. So yeah, I have had some people who have had good experience on Easy, and some most people are like, no, this is sucks. D tier is Temu and Wish. Please love yourself. Do not do this. Do not buy it. Please, you're so much better than this baby girl.
You're worth so much more.
You're worth so much more. Please don't buy anything off of Wish or Temu for cosplay, because that's all I gotta say. Okay, so any questions on where to purchase cosplays from? Okay, cool, moving on. Common elements to alter on purchase cosplays. Fit, sizing up or down, or even catering to your specific measurements and proportions. Again, super important. Shoes, those boot covers typically don't measure up. Boot covers, who has gotten boot covers from a cosplay? Do they fit your feet?
No.
No. Usually they're like a rounded shape like this, and then they've got 2 elastic straps on the bottom, and those are not going to look real good on any shoes. Gloves, hand turkeys, lol, I said. So a lot of those gloves are going to be made with a very easy and boring pre-cut glove pattern. And it's gonna be bigger than your fingers, and it's gonna make you look like you're wearing dish gloves or like construction gloves, and you don't want that. Not if you.
Hamburger helper.
Yeah, hamburger helper gloves. Correct. Exactly. 100%. And if you're being a beautiful princess, you don't want that. If you're being Natalia in the princess outfit, you don't want that. Accessories. Replacing those cheap vinyl, if you so please. There's so many resources now for 3D printed EVA foam accessories, resin kits online. We'll talk a lot about that a little bit later. But that is such an easy way to just upgrade elements of your cosplay, because you'll see, especially on Genshin cosplays, when you buy Genshin, I'm not a Genshin fan. I don't know what it is. No, I know what it is, but you'll buy the cosplay, and they've got all these little gold accessories, but they'll be made of cheap iron-on vinyl, and you can just peel them off with your hand, or they're lightly top-stitched down. It's rough. Okay, so we're going to go into common tailoring/fitting techniques. There are about 100 ways to go about alteration, but we'll go over some of the most common and useful techniques. How many of you have sewing experience? Doesn't matter how much, a lot? Yeah, yeah. So I'll be talking a little bit about some easier kind of beginner techniques. I'm not gonna go too crazy on like, this is what pad stitching is, and this is how you do it to achieve the shape in a collar. This is what, this, that, and that. But we're gonna talk about stuff that will be useful to you guys, individually. There are about 100 ways. Again, there's so many ways to do this. Sizing up, really important again for us plus size girlies. Letting out is basically the act of unpicking the seams using a seam ripper and sewing closer to the seam allowance. This is good for smaller changes. If you only need about a half an inch, an inch, maybe 2, you can barely get 2 out of it, then this is a pretty easy technique to do. I know it can be scary to kind of, again, we'll go into that a little bit more. This requires balls. This panel requires having balls, not physically. Spiritual. So this is good for smaller changes if you only need to add an inch. If you feel just like your arm size a little too tight, if you feel like you're just getting a little bit of bunching or rippling around your chest, if you feel like your waist is riding up, letting out those seams is going to be very helpful. The problem with this, however, is that your seams are just going to be, depending on the fabric really, they might be a little bit weaker afterwards because some of those cosplay websites use that really, really cheap costume satin that falls apart, or like that really, really, really cheap lining fabric too. It's still a good beginner way to kind of start learning to size up if you need to. Next is panels, gussets, gores. Adding extra fabric to the side or back seams of your cosplay to add extra width to the garment. Good for larger alterations. It requires matching or similar fabric. Panels are going to be typically rectangular. I actually have a couple examples, and you guys are welcome to come look at them at the end. But basically, I will cut apart, the side seam of a garment or something, and I will try my best to fabric match. I don't think I have a big section on fabric matching. I feel like, again, this kind of falls into the not just good, it's good enough category. You do not need to match your fabric exactly. Please don't worry too much about it. Nobody is gonna notice. If you've got a black satin and a black satin that's slightly different, if somebody's up in your armpit looking at that, kick them. If you've got one piece that's just slightly different, it's like got an undertone of purple versus an undertone of blue, and you're the only one who can see because you've been analyzing it for 4 hours, I promise you nobody at the convention is going to notice at all. Promise, 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 promise. Gores and gussets, they're typically triangular kind of types. These are going to be a little bit better for bodices or skirts as well. These will give you less at the top and more at the bottom. These are great for if you've got a large bust, like myself, because what it means, what it does, is that you will still have the exact same space in the armpit and the shoulder, but you'll have a little bit more space where it matters on the underside. So yeah, any questions on adding panels, gussets, gores? Cool. Basically, how you're going to do this is once you've got your seam unpicked, and once you've got your panel cut, you've got how much you need. Please keep in mind your math here, because I do this all the time where I double my math on accident because I forget that I'm adding two of them to each side. And so I'll be like, okay, I need to put 4 inches in this seam. So I make 2 4-inch panels, and then it's way too big, and I'm like, oh, I'm an idiot. No, you need 2 2-inch panels to add 4 inches. So just be mindful of your math. And yeah, you're gonna right sides together one side, stitch it down, flip the garment, right sides together the other side, and just kind of try to get that sleeve point a little bit close as you can. If you're doing a triangular in your armpit like that, just make sure, you can go over the sleeve seam one more time to just make sure you catch that little peak in there. Again, if somebody's up close and looking in your armpit like that, kick them at a con. Adding or replacing closures. This is a huge part too. Elastic for waistbands, hook and eyes instead of snaps, or Velcro, or whatever, whatever they put on those cheap cosplays to hold things together. Lacing panels in the back of a bodice. This is a great way to keep a bodice adjustable. Let's say you've got like a top to a cosplay, and it's got an invisible zipper on it, and that zipper just does not want to go. But also, your body's going to change, which our bodies just change. That's just life. You are not going to be the size you were when you were 14. You're not going to be the size you were when you were 25. That's just life. And so, unpicking that zipper and putting in grommets. You can do them by hand. You can do them with a machine. You can hinge them, whatever you want to do. And then lacing it up is a great way to keep that bodice completely adjustable for you, so that it will change with your body. And also, it's super versatile in that, and it looks really pretty. So, anybody who knows me knows half my cosplays are put together with snaps and hook and eyes. I love rigging. I'm very passionate about it. And again, a lot of those cosplays are going to use cheap Velcro, cheaper closures, cheaper snaps. Some of those cheap snaps are gonna pop immediately, and they're also the size of your a dust mite. You're gonna want bigger snaps on a lot of things. These will just help keep things secure, especially if it is a little bit tighter on you, to keep it from popping off, keep it from flying off, etc. Okay, so here's where we get a little sacrilegious, because this is what I typically do, because I don't care. When I am altering a cosplay, when I'm putting in a panel, I don't even unpick my seams. I just cut into them. I know, it's dangerous. Again, just be mindful, obviously, of your seam allowances, but it's just I'm putting more into this anyway. Why do I care about carefully unpicking it? Especially because unpicking seams can sometimes make that fabric around that edge a little bit weaker. So having the solidity of the fabric, if you're just going to cut into it, is going to be actually more helpful. Just again, do your math on that, and if you are kicking out the seam allowance on that, just make sure you add it back in to the new panel that you're adding. But yes, I do, this is where the balls come in. I know it's scary. You just spent $100 on this cosplay. You just spent $80 on this cosplay, or, sometimes even upwards of $150, $200, depending on the website. And you're like, oh my gosh. But just be careful and just go for it. Just go for it. Because the more you go for it, the easier it becomes to do as you go along. Okay. So sizing down, taking it is the act of making a garment tighter by sewing farther away from the seam allowance. This is basically, you can unpick for this, but again, I don't care. I just sew. So let's say, it's really big. You've got, some gaping in your underarm side. You've got some gaping up here. Just hold it closer. Decide exactly how much you want to add in. Or you want to take out, okay, I've got about a couple inches on this side that I've got to go in. I got a couple inches, on equal sides. And then you're just going to fold it in half. And remember again, since you're doing 2 of these, you only have to measure half. So if you need to take out 2 inches, and you're doing 2 side seams, that's 1 inch on each side, which means you need to add a ½ inch seam allowance, because it'll be a ½ inch on either side when you stitch it in like that. Does that make sense to people? Okay, cool. So in total, you're taking out 2 inches. You're going to, again, 1 inch on one side, 1 inch on the other, and because you're doing, because it's folded over already, you're getting a ½ inch from each side is going to equal 1 inch in the end. So. Yeah, so you're just gonna sew it closer by ½ inch, which, it seems like not enough when you're doing it, but it literally, again, maths, the maths. I'm terrible at math. My friends know this. I have dyscalculia, so I'm good at geometry, but I'm terrible at addition and subtraction, and yeah, they've seen me do this all the time where I'm like, oh, I accidentally put 8 inches in this instead of 4. Darts are half seams that extend from the outer edge to a point in the middle of a garment. These are a little bit more difficult to master. They're a little bit more advanced. There's a couple of techniques that you can use to get them really nice and tight. Oh, the parachute's getting set up. Oh, it's definitely, darts are, basically you're going to kind of sew a half seam, so wherever you want your dart to stop, like let's say you need taking in the waist, but you don't need any in the bust. So you're going to, fold at your point wherever you want that dart to stop. You're going to fold it, you're going to mark it, and then you're going to mark how much you need to take away. And so it's basically going to create a triangle on your fabric. And you're going to sew up that triangle and hit that point. The way I like to do darts really, really, really tight is once you get to the end, sew as close to the edge as you can, back and forth a couple of times, just so that you get that really nice clean point when you turn it out. Otherwise, you're going to get some pucker in on the opposite side. And again, these are cosplays that you're not going to enter in a competition, unless it's like a closet cosplay, which is absolutely valid. But they're not going to be cosplays that people are going to be looking up super duper up close. They're not going to be anything. So just as long as it's wearable, as it's comfortable, it does not need to be perfect. All right, any questions on darts and taking in? Cool. Exchanging closures, again, similar thing. If I need a thing a little tighter, maybe I'll add another hook and eye a little bit closer into my fabric and pull it in just a little bit. If I need a tighter waist, if my skirt is falling off me, I'll add a tighter elastic in that waistband so that it stays nice and tight. Elastic is so multifunctional. Adding structure. So instead of just alteration, one of the best things you can do is just add structure to a piece, and it'll actually look way better on you. Especially if it is something like a tailored jacket or something that's intended to be a little bit more rigid. Because again, these cosplays are going to come and they're not going to have any interfacing in them. They're not going to have any structure in them. Unless, again, you're getting one of the more high quality ones. But adding things like an interfacing or an interlining to make those pieces stiffer, to make them appear as the shape as they're supposed to, can actually do a lot to make what looks like a baggy, loose cosplay on you fit really, really well. Because again, it's giving us the shape that it's supposed to. And we all know as Tails characters have crazy shapes. And if anybody who did come to my panel on Friday, we talked a lot about interfacing, we talked a lot about structure, we talked a lot about buckram, heavyweight fabrics, etc. But it's a game changer. Like thinking about how much worse like my loop coat would look on me if it was like that, that like cheaply made satin where it's like all baggy and not holding its shape at all. But like it's still holding it because it's heavyweight vinyl. It like still holds its shape really, really well. Okay, sprucing up. Again, structure, we talked about it a little bit. Adding interfacing, interlining, shoulder pads, pad stitching, etc. to help a garment hold its shape. Shoulder pads are so awesome. You can add like 5 or 6 in if you need. If you are AFAB or smaller and you are cosplaying a big dude who has bigger shoulders, you can just straight up put like 4 or 5 shoulder pads into a suit coat, and it's gonna like make a huge difference. It's gonna look great comparatively.
I'm an Indies baby. You said shoulder pads are awesome,
Yeah.
and it just did 7 points of psychic damage.
Yeah. Go. But shoulder pads can be purchased at any local craft stores. A lot of like regular clothing shops will have them too. We're not talking like Forever 21, but like Walmart, Target will have them sometimes in different sections and stuff like that too, which is really nice. They really, like they're gonna improve your posture. They're gonna make you look imposing and big comparatively. And again, gravity-defying cosplays, a lot of Tails cosplays again, have those shapes that are just crazy and gravity-defying. Adding these in will just like make it look that much better. horsehair braid at the bottom of a ball gown or skirt is going to make your pleated skirt, your circle skirt, your flowy magical girl skirt so much prettier and so much better. You will, yeah, there's such a difference when you do stuff like that. Hemming, keep that dress coat or sleeves off of the ground and free of dirt. Oh my gosh, I feel so bad. I see it, there's a lot of conventions I see it. You know, those who frequently go to larger conventions, and you see somebody with this beautiful Princess Serenity gown or something like that, and it is dragging, and it is just covered in dirt because people keep stepping on it, and con floors are disgusting. And it's like, oh man, this person, you know, made this out of this beautiful, like, lightweight charmeuse, and it's like, oh, this sucks for them. But it is always better, you know, to, if you have something that drags, to keep it up if you are going to a convention with it. You can absolutely make something super long for a photo shoot or whatever, but, you know, do your best to
I was just gonna add to that. Bustles!
Bustles! Bustles and petticoats, yes, these are super, super important.
Please bustle your stuff, because if you're in a con and you're walking, you're dragging, you are a tripping hazard.
You are, yeah, that's the other thing, is like you are a hazard to other people. You can see I care costumes for people that, no, that's not true. Petticoats, undergarments of any kind, corsetry, you know, something that's going to help keep the shape underneath whatever you're wearing is super, super important. Make it look more regal and expensive and fancy, especially again for these fancier cosplays. Add some just fun trim to the edge. Add some embroidery. Add some applique that wouldn't normally be there. Satin stitch around the appliques that you've got. Again, a lot of these are going to come with this cheap iron-on vinyl for a lot of the details. Either you can top stitch them down, or you can satin stitch them. I've got my eyes and coat's an example of one that I did as well. Closures. Again, we've talked a lot about closures, but those pre-made cosplay sites love to attach accessories just using a safety pin. You'll get again these elaborate cosplays, and then it's like, oh, we didn't put any closures in the belt. You just have to safety put it together, and you're like, why? Yeah, basically. So like. You can add a snap to the back of that. It's going to be more secure and it's going to look better. Because, you know, safety pins, there's always going to be a little bit of a hang off of it as well. Remaking and redrafting. Oh my gosh. So this is if you're crazy like me. I hated the sleeves on Noah's Eisen coat. I hated them. They came in and they were just a black sleeve, barely a puff sleeve, with... Instead of having the gored sleeves, the slash sleeves, it was white iron-on vinyl in little diamonds across the
It was disgusting.
It sucked. And so I was like, I can't not remake these completely. There's no way. There's no way. So I completely remade the sleeve. And yeah, you can see, obviously, it looks so much better now. It's an actual slash sleeve. But yeah, Again, that does require some fabric matching if you weren't planning on it previously, but in the end, it ultimately looks so much better. All right, non-sewing techniques for alteration. What time is it, by the way? What are we looking at?
2:44.
Okay, cool. We're gonna go a little faster. Replacing accessories. Replace inaccurate or cheaply made accessories with new ones. Again, these are great for the Genshin, but they're also great for the Tails, because there's a lot of Tails cosplays that are gonna come with those.
Everywhere.
Yeah. A lot of wonderful people will put their 3D print files online for free or more, obviously, or a small fee. They're really great. 3D printers are becoming more and more accessible. You can find them anywhere. Yes?
A lot of the times your local library,
Yes.
they will have like accessories that you can rent. They will have, or not accessories, sorry. They will have 3D printers, sewing machines, just things that you can rent.
Maker spaces are so awesome now, and libraries are the best for it.
They understand
Again,
that
libraries
people
are
needing
goated
these
forever. The best public works things in the universe. EVA foam accessories. EVA foam is easy to learn. I went into detail on this on my Friday panel of exactly how I do it. The fabric over foam method is also another really easy way. That's how I did the accessories on Eisen's coat, because again, I just didn't want to finish foam, and it also keeps it nice and strong. Great independent creators that offer resin kits nowadays. Dangerous Ladies.
So good.
We love Dangerous Ladies, and they are also a wonderful place for 3D print files. These, they're Canada-based, and I believe they do ship internationally, but they are, they do 3D print files. They do resin kits of those 3D print files where you can buy the resin kit, and it'll come unfinished, so you have to finish it. You basically just have to sand and paint it and seal it. But they're great. They're so good.
They also do have some patterns on there.
Yes.
So
they have.
like, just you can check periodically, see what they have. I know they have a number of Fire Emblem.
Yes.
I think they have kind
exactly.
of popular stuff, so it's a good place to check if you're
They're
looking for something
fantastic. Yeah.
trendy.
And they'll have like the whole kit for the cosplay.
Oh,
so not just
absolutely.
like one piece. They'll have like, okay, this is for XYZ's outfit, and you can you know it'll have all the badges and all the buckles and all that. It's so good. They're so good.
Sometimes there will be options of like if you want them unfinished, if you want them finished
Yeah.
in a certain color. I've had that before from them, and it's great.
They're great. They're fantastic. Illustrious Models. They are based out of Australia, but they also again ship internationally. They're a little bit more expensive, but you can get full props from these guys. You can get full big giant swords from these guys. And they, again, also offer their models. So if you have a 3D printer at home, if you have access to a 3D printer, maybe don't do a giant greatsword at your library. But
it's not gonna print in 4 hours.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that
correct.
for free.
yes,
Yeah, it's not even just the size of weapons. If you're using a university's 3D printer, a lot of schools have a no
Those
weapons
beds,
policy,
yeah.
and that flat out includes cosplay props that are school shapes.
yeah, 100%. Yeah. Obviously, read your whatever makerspace you're going to. Read the fine print. MBD Designs. I showed them because they're Colorado local, and I love them. And I got my Zelda resin kit when I did Tears of the Kingdom Zelda from them, which Illustrious also offered. But I love, again, supporting local, and MBD is great. Dyeing and painting, color's not accurate enough, dye it. Details missing, paint it. Dyeing can be really important because a lot of those times especially if you're getting a cosplay from somebody who doesn't make the same cosplay over and over and over and over again, they're not going to put as much care into understanding the colors of the characters, and they're just mostly going to use what they have on hand. So if you're buying a made-to-order cosplay from like eBay or something, just make sure that you are, if the reference isn't super accurate, just get it do whatever color you want, honestly. And because a lot of the times you'll get them and it won't even match the photo that they posted on the listing itself. Even if it was their photo, it was probably a cosplay that they made like 10 years ago that they still have the listing up for. So they're just not gonna have the same fabrics. So that's always a good option. Adding browets, rivets, details, etc. We kind of went over that. Adding a prop, style your wig. Just little extra things that you can do. If you've got a base, a really flat wig, you can at least, just comb it out. I didn't talk about this at all. The easiest way to make a bot cosplay look better is iron it, press it, steam it, hang it on a hanger, and put it in your shower. And while you're showering, take 2 or 3 showers and let it hang. This is like the best thing you can do, is that they use a lot of that crinkly uniform fabric. Maybe it was in transit for a month and a half and it's just gotten creases from being folded in the box forever. Pressing is gonna just like make such a huge difference. Steaming, pressing, however you want to do it, even if you don't have access to an iron. Hopefully everybody's got a shower. Or again, you can take it to someplace like a laundromat or an alterations expert, and they can kind of at least press it out for you. All right, 13 cosplays. This one's a little bit more not exclusive, but it's exclusive and not in like, I don't know how to. It excludes a little bit more cosplays. It's a little harder of a bar to start thrifting, I should say.
You're not gonna find a Tails cosplay.
No, you're not gonna find a Tails cosplay at a thrift store.
Unless you're doing like a casual.
You can find like uniform pieces. You can find like little pieces. Reasons to thrift: convenient and accessible. Most all of us are going to have a thrift store or an op shop in our hometown. I hope. Great for last minute costumes. I can't tell you how many times I've been like, oh, I do want a new cosplay for this weekend, but I don't want to, nightmarishly crunch something. Let me just find something nice and easy to use. A treasure trove for basics. If you just need black leggings that are going to go with 100 cosplays, if you need a white dress shirt that's going to go with 100 cosplays, if you're going to need, just plain brown shoes. Shoes are the best from thrift stores. Thrift stores is the best place to get cosplay shoes that aren't like specific boots and fancy stuff. But if you need basic shoes for any cosplay, go thrifting first before you look online. And yeah, sustainable, great for the environment. Duh. I love thrifting. I am Macklemore. Challenges with thrifting: oftentimes thrifted pieces will require a lot more effort to find a good balance and accuracy and fit if you are going hard and want to turn it into a Tails cosplay, which I don't know why you would. But yeah, stuff like uniforms. More detailing work will be required, more techniques, more color matching, etc. But if you're doing like a school version, or if you're doing like, any of the fun like basic modern Asteria alts or anything like that, you may be more limited in selection or may have to go to several thrift stores to find what you are looking for. I love doing this. My spouse hates it. We can go to one store and then he's done, which is fair. But I love doing the hunt, as it were. This is my other big thing. Please be respectful for those who are actually more reliant on thrifting. Please do not purchase significantly oversized clothing because it will be easier to alter for you. A lot of people do rely on these close to live to buy clothes on a regular basis. If you, there are people who like cannot really go anywhere else, and thrift stores are going to be where they're going to find their clothes. This was a big ethical issue for a lot of the sewing community online many years ago, where there were a lot of these itty bitty, models who were buying these big giant 4X clothes and taking them away from somebody who might need them, and making it into, a patchwork dress or something like that. And it's like, man, just get something that already fits you and then try it. I know it's harder that way, but like, just give it a shot. Okay. The best cosplays to thrift are, they're simplistic, modern designs from Western video games or movies and TV. Again, like I said, school alts are great. Again, I'm doing this at the end of the school year, so it doesn't really count this time. But whatever the next theme is, I guess we'll find out. But yeah, modern cosplays are great. Menswear is super easy to thrift and find. Suit jackets, coats, etc. Because a lot of people will wear it once and then toss it in the thrift store. Reusable basics, like I said, black leggings, a pair of white flat shoes, a pair of brown boots, a basic white shirt, etc. Those are all going to be really great to thrift. So, okay. Most of all, have fun. Buying and altering is all about experimentation and practice. It is not about making an incredible award-winning piece that is going to be immaculate. And again, if it is awesome, go for it, but you're not going to win it. Cosplay contests have their rules, but more than anything, I use it as an opportunity to kind of go in between, bigger builds and just make something fun, and experiment, and try out a new technique that I maybe haven't before. Try to alter something or fix something up that I maybe wouldn't do in my normal projects. And here's my resources. Yes. I love my historical sews. I watch a lot of historical sewing YouTube. I would love to get into it someday. Love to know him someday. But I just absorb it so much. Downtown Tailoring is great. They are a little bit more of a tutorial channel. And they specifically focus on alterations and tailoring techniques. They're really, really great. Bernadette Benner, obviously, she has a handful of videos where she talks about thrifting and altering and changing things up. Morgan Downer is also a delight. She does a lot of things from a lot of different eras. Anya Panda is a cosplayer YouTuber. She was a little bit bigger a few years ago, but she is She's not as like crazy craftsmanship focused as a lot of other cosplay YouTubers. I love cosplay YouTubers, but like they're like, I made this elaborate, intense ball gown and here's how I did it, and it's a 45-minute video. Meanwhile, Anya Panda's like, I made this character from Danny Phantom in a weekend. Do you guys want to see me put it together?
She also sometimes has like good other like cosplay reference resources, like the Natalia thing I have.
Yeah.
I found like her review of it, and
Yeah.
it's like my favorite way.
Yeah.
So like she has like wig recommendations, probably like colored contacts, makeup. She has
Yeah,
all sorts of
she's
other
super
cosplay
great
stuff
for her.
too. So she's a really good resource.
I love
just
her.
in
I've been
general.
watching her for many, many years. Professor Pincushion, we were talking about her on Friday a whole bunch. That's my mom. Not my actual mom, but I want her to be my mom. Correct. She, again, is a sewing YouTuber. There's a lot of these little tutorial channels, but she's just always been there. She's been there. She's the rock of a sewing tutorial YouTube, where her tutorials are super digestible. They are like 5 to 10 minutes long at the most, and they're super clear, and they're super visual, and they're very, 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 very helpful. And yeah, and so many more. Okay, how much time do we have left?
4 minutes.
Okay, anybody have any questions? Any questions on alteration, where to purchase cosplays, anything specific? I know everybody's really excited about the parachute. I am too. You guys are welcome to come up and take a look. There's a badge ribbon sting on there. You guys are welcome to come up and take a look, and I can talk about a little bit of what alterations I did on each of these. I have my tier that I wore on Friday. It's really funny. I wore an altered cosplay for my like cosplay craftsmanship panel, and I wore a big cosplay. But I have a tier here. I have and Eisen here, who I altered for my spouse. But yeah, you guys are welcome to come take a look if you want. But otherwise, thank you guys so much. I better see every single one of you in the cosplay contest next year.
Yeah, I can make no promises, but I can try.
This is great for the closet cosplay section of the contest.
All I can